I came here to save you.
The fortress is taken.
It is over.
Do not cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
You're my only hope.
We shall fight on the beaches.
There will be days when we lose faith.
We band of brothers.
But take heart. Look around. You're not in this fight alone.
I bid you stand! Men of the West!
Hello all, this is Caleb with King's Advisors, and today I'm going to be giving y'all my review for the new Modern Warfare game. First off, I want to explain how these game reviews are going to go. For most of our stuff, Dan and I will create content together. But right now, neither of our schedules really allow us the free time to review things like Call of Duty together. So for now, I will be doing more of the smaller content reviews like Call of Duty. Eventually, I'm hoping we'll both be free to do a Age of Mythology review when they release the new game, because I'm not sure I've been more pumped about anything in a long time. Very excited for that game. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I am. So I'm going to handle more of the smaller content, and then Dave and I will have live streams periodically, and those will be our main content stuff. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk Call of Duty. So I recorded a video yesterday giving this a 7. And I said it was probably more like a 5 or a 6, but there were some things I really liked that pushed it to a 7 for me. Well, last night I replayed a couple of those things that I really liked, and I've changed my mind. You know, this game actually as a whole is probably a 5.5. Maybe a 6. One of the things that does that for me is you could play through probably half the campaign inside of an hour and a half. And that's really disappointing. You know, I feel like the first 3 Modern Warfare games, and even the first couple of Black Ops, heck, even Advanced Warfare, took a while to play through. Now, if you were playing on easy or regular, beating the games inside of 6 or 7 hours wasn't unheard of, and it was pretty easy to do. I know that anytime what I usually do is I usually start on regular, and then like a week or two later, I'll go and play and try to beat the thing on veteran inside of a weekend or something. And so my opinion is usually based off of a combination of the two. And it's just kind of annoying that these campaigns today are just so short. I mean, yeah, 17 missions. That's a lot of missions. But I think there's 4 or 5 of them that you could beat inside of 15 minutes. And that's very disappointing. Now, Call of Duty over the years has had a mix of missions that I like to call X and out and X and up missions. And what I mean by that is X is where you spawn. And so there are some missions where you spawn in the game and you go up, like any of the oil platform missions. And then there are some games where you spawn and you go out, kind of like the Wolverines mission in Modern Warfare 2. One of my favorite missions. I think it's a lot of people's one of their favorite missions. It's the one where you start as an Army Ranger in a DC suburb, and you wind up like shooting up these restaurants to get the Russians out, and you have all those Predator strikes, and you have to defend the burger town from the Russians. It's just a really good mission, and it takes a while too. That's one of the great things about it, is you're not in and out in 5 minutes. See, there's a joke in there. Let me know if you can find it. And so one of the issues I have is the previous oil platform mission, which unfortunately I can't remember which game it is in, took probably half an hour to play through. And one of the reasons I think they were able to do that is because they had those 3 rooms you had to breach and clear. And breaching rooms just slows the game down. It does. They also have that moment where they basically say, okay, we've been found out. Everyone plant your claymores, pull out your sniper rifles, and get ready to shoot down this long walkway. And then you've got the helicopter you've got to take out later. So you have all these things that prolong the mission. And it just feels like they forgot to do that in this. Because the oil platform mission in this one, I got up to the top of the platform without firing a shot. And it wasn't necessarily because I didn't want to fire a shot or I wanted to see how far I can get. It was because every single time I aimed down my sights, my teammate shot the guy. And it was just like, computer, what are we doing? And do you even need me here? Now, one thing I will say, one of the really cool parts is on that oil platform mission. You leave the platform, you go to this long boat, this shipping boat, and because you're in rough seas, the boat is constantly moving. So the shipping containers on the boat are moving on like a XY axis. They don't really move forward to rear. They go, left to right, front to back. Sorry. So it's a boring mission, but there's a really cool aspect to it. So that's that cool aspect is one of the things that kind of made me think, okay, maybe it's a better game than I think it is. But I replayed it and I was just like, no, this just isn't worth it. So the other really annoying thing about this game is there's a car chase mission for, lack of a better term. You're in a truck and you chase these guys in a car for a while. And what's really annoying is it doesn't feel Call of Duty. It feels James Bond. It feels like it belongs in a James Bond game. It doesn't feel like it belongs in Call of Duty. Now, obviously, you fire weapons at people and, take them out and you blow stuff up and all that. And that feels very Call of Duty-ish. But the fact that you're driving, you then press a button to lean out of the vehicle, shoot at the guys. And if your vehicle takes too much damage, you hop on the top and try to jump to another vehicle. It just seems cavalier. It doesn't really feel like it belongs with Call of Duty. So those are two of my big issues with the campaign. The campaign's not long enough. Even though there are enough missions, it's just not long enough. I mean, think about the one in, again, I think it's 2010 Modern Warfare 2, where you are chasing the guys through the shanty town. I mean, that's a long mission, especially because they just keep coming. So that's an example of a good use of bad guys when they keep coming. But this game doesn't have that. Once you clear a room, they're gone, which is how most of them have been. But I feel like having a designated number of opponents that come to a room or an area, and then once you get all of them, you are safe, is a little cheap. I feel like there should always be a hint of danger around every corner in Call of Duty. So now that I've talked about the campaign, I want to talk about Special Ops. Because Modern Warfares are 3 games. You've got your campaign, your Special Ops, and your multiplayer. Now, Special Operations in the 2019 Modern Warfare felt like a continuation of the campaign. They had that cutscene after you finished the campaign that kind of explained all the Special Ops are missions that Task Force 141 goes on after this campaign. So it felt almost like a continuation of the campaign. And I really enjoyed that. I thought, this kind of feels like I'm getting more story. And that's great. But in that one, it was impossible to do by yourself. I mean, I remember trying to do the very first one. I don't really remember which one the first one was, but I do remember doing it. and could not do it by yourself. You couldn't do any of the ones that took place in the airport by yourself. And so I think there were 15. I think I probably did 12 of them. And so I wound up playing with other people. And I really did enjoy that, especially when they had their microphones. But it just feels like you should be able to play this by yourself if you want to. Like if you have to, you should be able to play by yourself. So I played the first one where you have to be all quiet, you dive into, you parachute in, and it's, your night vision the entire time. And it was great. There wasn't a abundance of enemies that kept coming no matter what, like in the previous ones, but there was still a lot. So unfortunately, I didn't complete it. I only tried it once because I was really tired and I just wanted to try it. And it was great that the amount of enemies made sense, the difficultness of them made sense. I'm sure, and I'm sure it's one of those things where the more people you add, the more enemies there are. So, like, the more people on your team, if you have a full team of 4, there's probably 4 times as many enemies, I would hope. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the one I've played so far. So far, I give Special Ops a 7. Now on to multiplayer, which I love. I've always been a very big fan of Call of Duty multiplayer. I think back from World at War, which was what? 13 years ago? Jeez. Actually, I think it's 14. Yeah, I believe it came out in 2008. Yeah, I think it's 14 years old. That's crazy. Yeah, so back from World at War all the way till Modern Warfare 2019. I bought every single one day one. I played every campaign. I even bought Infinity Warfare. But I bought that so that I could play the Modern Warfare remake, mostly. And I love the campaigns. But I will say, sorry, the multiplayer. But I will say sometime around Black Ops 3, multiplayer started feeling different. And it wasn't just the futuristic stuff, the grappling and the running on the walls and stuff like that. It started feeling like a different game. And I can't really describe that. I think there are a lot of people that kind of know what I mean when I say that. But what I'll say is this one feels old school in a very good way. The menus are kind of stupid. There's way too many menus. There's like 14 different ways of getting people to join your party. It's that aspect is lame, but it doesn't really take away from just the awesomeness of once you get into that map. The maps are amazing. I really like them. If there's any remakes, I haven't been able to tell because, again, it's been a while since I've played one, but it has just been a really fun game so far. So I give the multiplayer a very good 8 so far. There's a couple of modes that I don't like. I've never been a very big fan of Knockout. I'm also not the biggest fan of Hardpoint, but they're great time, or well, it's and Kill Confirmed. Not a fan of Kill Confirmed because I like shooting from a distance and closing that gap to pick up the dog tags without dying can be annoying. Though I get it. I understand why the mode exists. So I really enjoy it all. And I think I have some very, very fond memories on playing Call of Duty multiplayer. I met some really fun guys playing that. And this just kind of brings that all back. It it reminds me of better times, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but I really enjoy it. So with that, like I said, my review is for the game itself is a 5.5. For special ops, it's a 7, and for multiplayer, it's an 8. So and like I said, for the campaign, it's a 5 or a 5.5. It's just very disappointing. Now, and like I said, I think I said this earlier. I might have said this in the recording that I didn't record, but I am planning on playing. I am planning on playing it on veteran this weekend, and there's a very good chance that could change my opinion. There's a very good chance that playing it on a higher difficulty will allow me to feel like it's a much longer game. So we'll see. But as of right now, my rating for the entire game as a whole is a 5.5. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe, click that bell, and give us a follow on Twitter at King'sAdvisors_.